Hello everyone, welcome back. So, the previous sessions we have seen state executive. So today we will be moving on to the state legislature. So according to Article 168 of the Constitution, every state shall have a legislature, and it may consist of the governor and one or two houses of the legislature. So some states have got only one house, like our own state Kerala, and some states have got two houses. So where there are two houses of the legislature, of the state legislature, one of the houses would be called the Legislative Council, which is comparable to our Rajya Sabha, and the other one would be called the Legislative Assembly, which is comparable to our Lok Sabha. So most states have got only one house, which you commonly call the Legislative Assembly. So Parliament can make laws to either create a Legislative Council if they don't have one, or to abolish an existing Legislative Council. So that is, it's up to the Parliament to do it. But the Parliament does this only after the concerned state legislative assembly passes a resolution to that effect. So if this concerned state wants to create a legislative council, then the Parliament can do so after the state legislative assembly passes a resolution. Now, the same is the case with abolition of an existing legislative council. So Parliament abolishes an existing legislative council after the concerned assembly has, the concerned state assembly has passed a resolution to that effect. Now, moving on to the Legislative Council, you also call this as the upper house or the Vidhan Parishad. So, the Legislative Council is also called Vidhan Parishad or upper house, and it's a permanent body like the Rajya Sabha. I told you it's comparable to the Rajya Sabha. So every 2 years, 1/3 of the members retire. So Constitution has fixed the maximum strength of any legislative council, and that can be only up to 1/3 the total membership of the legislative assembly. So the maximum strength of the legislative council depends on the total membership of the legislative assembly. Whatever is the membership of the legislative assembly, up to 1/3 of its membership can be included in the legislative council, and it should have a minimum of 40 members. So that's a minimum fixed. So the members of legislative council includes both elected as well as nominated members. And here in the case of elected members, they are directly elected as well as indirectly elected. And election is based on proportional representation by means of single transferable vote. And this is a phrase that you are already familiar with. Now moving on to the election and the nomination of members to the Legislative Council. 1/3 the members are elected by the Legislative Assembly of the state. Now another 1/3 they are elected by the local bodies of the state, like the municipalities and the panchayats. Now 1/12 members are elected by persons with at least 3 years standing as teachers. So teachers in institutions not lower than secondary school, which means secondary school and above, so with at least 3 years standing. And another 1/12 members are elected by university graduates with at least 3 years standing in the state. And 1/6 members are elected by the governor from among people with special knowledge or experience in the field of arts, literature, science, social science, and cooperative movement. So this is a general breakup of the membership in the Legislative Council. Moving on to the qualifications for any person to be elected to the Legislative Council of a state. As usual, he should be a citizen of India, and he or she should be of at least 30 years of age. And the parliament can prescribe other qualifications if they want to. Now, the Legislative Council also has a deputy chairman and a deputy chairman who are elected from among the members of the council, and the chairman and the deputy chairman will be the presiding officers for the Legislative Council. So, chairman will preside over the meetings and conduct the proceedings, and in the absence of the chairman, the deputy chairman would do it. Now coming to the Legislative Assembly, you also call it the lower house or the Vidhan Sabha. So this is like our Lok Sabha. So according to Article 170, Legislative Assembly of each state shall consist of not more than 500 and not less than 60 members chosen by direct election. So Constitution prescribes an upper limit and a lower limit for any legislative assembly. So every state will have a legislative assembly with maximum 500 members and minimum 60 members, and they are elected only through direct election, based on territorial constituencies. Now their term is 5 years, or the term of the Legislative Assembly is 5 years, and after every 5 years you have a fresh election. Now, the House elects a Speaker and Deputy Speaker from among its members as the presiding officers. So, just like the Legislative Council had a chairman and deputy chairman, the Legislative Assembly will have a Speaker and Deputy Speaker, so who will preside over the meetings and proceedings of the Assembly. Now, the Assembly will meet at least twice in a year. That's a minimum. Now, to be qualified as a member of Legislative Assembly, a person has to be a citizen with at least 25 years of age, so 25 plus, and they should possess other qualifications as the Parliament can prescribe. So that may vary. Now, there are certain grounds on which the members may be disqualified. Number one, if they are found holding an office of profit. Number two, if the person is of an unsound mind. 3, he or she is a declared insolvent. And if they are not a citizen of India, then also they can be disqualified. And remember that no person can be a member of both the houses of the state legislature. So in case a state legislature has 2 houses, a person can be a member of only one of the 2. And nobody can be a member of the legislatures of 2 or more states. You can be a member of the legislatures of any one of the states. And if the state has got 2 houses, you can be part of only one of the 2 houses. So the person will be disqualified if he falls under any of this above said categories. Now we are just seeing that Speaker is the chief presiding officer for the Legislative Assembly, and the person is elected by the members of the Assembly from among the members itself. And when the office of the Speaker falls vacant, you have a Deputy Speaker who performs the duties of the Speaker. Now coming to the legislative procedure in the houses. See, both the houses of the state legislature have equal powers except in the case of money bill. So money bills are a special case which we had seen when we discussed the Lok Sabha and the Rajya Sabha. So in all other bills, both the houses of the legislatures have got equal powers. Now, Legislative Assembly has more powers than the Legislative Council in the case of money bills, and this was true in the case of Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha also, because there the Lok Sabha had more powers in case of money bills. The same way here, the Legislative Assembly, which is comparable to the Lok Sabha, has got more powers in the case of money bills. And you know that money bills are introduced in the Lok Sabha only with the prior permission or recommendation from the governor. And this was the case with the Lok Sabha also. Lok Sabha could introduce the money bill only with the prior permission of the governor. The same way, the Legislative Assembly can introduce a money bill only with the governor's permission. Now, Legislative Council has to return the bill in 14 days, otherwise the bill will be considered passed. So this was the same case as that of the Rajya Sabha, where Rajya Sabha has to act on the money bill within 14 days, otherwise it was considered passed. So the maximum that the Legislative Council can do is to delay the money bill by 14 days. So in the case of ordinary bills may originate in either house of the state legislature, and the Legislative Council can delay an ordinary bill for a maximum of 3 months. So ordinary bill, if it originates in the Legislative Council, the Legislative Assembly can still reject it, and thus putting an end to the bill. But unlike the centre, we do not have a provision for joint sitting at the state legislative level. So after the bill is passed by the legislature, state legislature, it is sent to the governor of the state for his assent. So remember that an ordinary bill which originated in the Legislative Council can be rejected by the Legislative Assembly. This is one thing to be noted. Now coming to the powers of the state legislature. First of all, the legislative power or the lawmaking powers. So they have the power to make laws on matters in both the state list and the concurrent list. So state legislature has the power to make laws regarding the subjects in the state list and the concurrent list. I hope you remember what the state list and the concurrent lists are. State list is the list of subjects on which the state can make laws, and concurrent list, as the term indicates, is a list of subjects on which both the center and the state can make laws. But the union law shall prevail in case of a conflict between the union law and the state law. So basically the center's law will have an upper hand. So as expected. So in matters of legislation, both the houses of the legislature have got more or less equal powers, but not exactly equal, because in case of money bills, the Legislative Council is, not really powerful. But, okay, now coming to the executive powers, you know that in parliamentary form of government, the executive is directly responsible to the Legislative Assembly, be it at the center or the states. The executive is directly responsible to the legislature. This means that the Council of Ministers shall be collectively responsible to the Legislative Assembly of the state. So the Council of Ministers, they are collectively responsible. This was we had seen what collective responsibility is when we did the Council of Ministers, when we did the Union Executive. So now they are collectively responsible. Now they remain in office only as long as they enjoy the confidence of the House. Here the House means the Legislative Assembly. And the moment they lose the confidence, they are out of office. So the state legislature has, they can exercise some control over the state executive. Now, Council of Ministers are collectively responsible to the Assembly, and it can also control the ministers through questions, supplementary questions, by moving motions, etc. And also note that the state legislature can remove the Council of Ministers by the following ways. Number one, by rejecting a money bill. 2, by rejecting the budget. And finally, passing no confidence motion against the Council of Ministers or against any minister. So these are the 3 occasions where the Council of Ministers can be removed. So if a money bill is rejected, then so that is indicative of the, it almost amounts to no confidence. So the Council of Ministers will be out of office. So then second is rejecting a budget, and 3, when a no confidence motion is passed either against the Council of Ministers or against any single minister. So here, even if the no confidence is against a single minister, the whole council will stand, or they will be out of office, because the Council of Ministers, they are collectively responsible. So even if the no confidence was against one single minister, the entire council will have to be out of office, as they are collectively responsible to the Legislative Assembly. Now, coming to financial powers, we had seen that the Legislative Assembly has got full control over the state government. We have seen that even in case of money bills, it originates only in the Legislative Assembly, and Legislative Council can only delay it for maximum 14 days. So, no tax can be levied or modified without the consent of the state Legislative Assembly. So, all this indicates that Legislative Assembly has got more control over the finances of the government, or rather they have more financial powers than the Legislative Council. Now, coming to constituent powers. So this is basically regarding the power to amend the constitution. You know that constitutional amendment of the constitution, they are done by the parliament, but some provisions of the constitution can be amended only with the ratification by the legislatures of majority of the states. So this we will see elaborately when we do the chapter on constitution amendment, probably in the next semester. But just understand that most provisions of the constitution, provisions of the constitution can be amended by the parliament, but certain provisions, for example, something like the election, the method of election of the president, etc., has to be amended, can be amended only with the approval of the states also. Basically, something that affects the federal structure of the country. Such amendments, they are taken or sent to the state assemblies also for ratification. Now, when it comes to such provisions, both the Legislative Assembly and the Council have got really equal powers. So just like Lok Sabha and Rajya Sabha had equal powers with regard to the Constitution amendment, the same way the Legislative Assembly and Council, they have co-equal powers in cases of amendment of the Constitution. Now, certain other miscellaneous powers of the House. The state legislature can recommend to the Parliament creation or abolition of Legislative Council. So if they want a Legislative Council, or if they want to abolish an existing one, that may be recommended to the Parliament by the Legislative Council of the state. Now, it also determines the salaries and allowances of ministers. Then it can also make laws for the smooth conduct of business of the state legislature. Then finally, a few limitations of the state legislature. First of all, they have no power for constitutional amendment. State legislatures cannot initiate amendments to the constitution. This is an exclusive prerogative of the parliament. And certain bills can be introduced in the state assembly only with the prior permission of the president. So in very few cases, you need the permission of the president to introduce certain categories of bills in the house. And governor can reserve certain bills passed by the state legislature for president's consideration. So the governor feels that the president has to have a look at the proposed legislation, then the governor can reserve such bills because governor receives the bills after it is passed by the state legislature. So such bills, if the governor feels so, he may reserve it for president's consideration. And then finally, we had seen that on matters in the state list, the state can make laws. But there is an exception to it. So Parliament can make laws on a matter in the state list if it is in national interest to do so, And 2, if state emergency is in operation in the concerned state. And 3, to honor international treaties and agreements. So even if a matter falls in the state list, still the parliament can make law on that matter under 3 circumstances. 1, if it is a national interest to do so. 2, if state emergency is in operation. And 3, to honor international treaties and agreements. So this is all regarding our discussion on state legislature. So thank you all.